Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum friends. This is your host Bilal from Football Gupshup. Friends, if you could please subscribe to this channel. Also, please press the bell icon button so you could get the notification of Football Gupshup videos. So, guys, let's start with today's video. This video is particularly for Manchester United fans. In today's video, we'll discuss the current situation of Manchester United manager. As everyone knows that after Liverpool match, things have turned real bad for United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. The board have made an inept decision by letting him stay at the club for the next fixture. Everyone was expecting that Ole was going to lose his job on Monday, but the board have been surprised by the match result, and the leaks have started to come out of the club. The leaks are telling that how much player support for Ole has diminished, and players believe that Ole is a nice person, but he's out of his depth. Manchester United they signed Ronaldo, Varane, and Sancho this summer, but the whole team have been really underperforming. The Leicester result as well as the Atlanta first half was pretty bad, and now Liverpool match has really shown that how much United have regressed under Ole and his coaching team. The dilemma of what's happening as well currently, and as who should be United next manager, will be discussed in this episode. I would like to ask all of the Manchester United fans to sit through this video, as I've done a thorough research on which manager should Manchester United should go for. What I've done is I've collected a set of data of these targeted managers. I've taken this data from transfermarket.com, and also I've also taken the data of other managers who are United competitors such as Klopp and Pep. What I want to do is basically show a set case of United should be getting a manager who apparently is up to the task of challenging Liverpool and City. In other means, challenging Klopp and Pep Guardiola. So we'll be looking at their data. We'll be looking at their what they've done, what they did in their previous clubs, what made them special, what specifically they are good at. Is it tactical? Is it to do with the philosophy? Is it to do with the quality of the players? Is it to do with the whole thing starting behind the scene, meaning that they have good sporting directors, they have good people in the back who make sure that the project is well run? What is it actually that we could, you could say that United could learn from those two clubs and what they're supposed to do? Now, I very much like Manchester United fans, such as the especially from the YouTube, such as the United Stand or Stretford Paddock, to listen into this, especially those who listen to those podcasts. Please do see this video, as I've highlighted some key insights, and it will make your decision easier of who should United go for as their next manager. So I'm going to start with what do actually United want, what are they looking for, what kind of manager do they require. They have gone through the likes of Moyes, Louis van Gaal, Mourinho, and now Ole. None have worked out successfully for United. But United, they used to win under Sir Alex Ferguson, and it's been 8 years now. So, they've stopped doing it. Van Gaal and Mourinho, they apparently did win some trophies for United, but since then it has been a downhill thing. And Ole so far has been failed to bring success to United. He has steadied the ship, but it seems that he's taken as much as far as he could. And now over the horizon, there should be a new person coming in with new sets of philosophy, with new sets of ideas, and what they can do on the pitch, producing results, maybe kind of challenging Liverpool and City. So we'll go through that. Please do again, I would just like to give you a message. Please do subscribe to this channel, and please let your friends know about this channel. So we'll be starting, moving on. The thing is, as you have seen in the mainstream media on Sky, that people like Gary and Jamie Carragher quite often they've been discussing about United situation, and they have put on their points. For example, Jamie goes on to say that how come United, such a big club with the prestige and all that, could be having a manager like Ole, and whereas Gary is kind of in the corner of Ole, and he seems to think that Ole is still perfect for United. He should be given more time. He has got the players now, and he seems to think that Ole is the right man. But since the Liverpool result, as you could see in the pictures, that United fans weren't happy and they started leaving the stadium at halftime, and it wasn't a very good picture, and certainly not for a good day for all the United fans. So we'll start with who are we going to speak about. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the targeted managers. Uh, the managers which I've highlighted are Antonio Conte. Um, I've highlighted Ten Hag from Ajax. I've also highlighted Mauricio Pochettino. I think these three names have come up mostly in past 4 to 5 days on many streams of media. What we're going to do is we're going to look at them one by one. Zinedine Zidane name has also turned up, but as we know that Zidane isn't interested in managing in England and he doesn't want to, so we have ruled him out apparently. So let's start with these targeted managers, and the first I would want to go ahead would be Erik Ten Hag. Apparently, Erik Ten Hag is a very good manager. He's a young manager. He's been the manager of Ajax for like last 5 seasons. He has been able to do pretty good so far. He has shown his quality, the way his teams are set up, the way his teams do play. Mostly, people do not watch the Dutch league, and apparently, the most of the acts they have seen through Champions League, and what they have been able to see is that Erik Ten Hag team are a team which do not have many star names, and they quite often play with young players, and they tend to be pretty good in systematic means. So we're going to start looking at his record. We'll start with he started in Ajax in the year 2017 and 18 season. He played about 16 games and he won 12 of them, which is a pretty good record. It comes up to 2.38 points per match. The good thing about Erik Ten Hag, if you could just see, you could see the data in front of you. If you look at the amount of goals his team usually score, they do score a lot of goals. They did manage to come to the Champions League semi-final, which they lost against Tottenham Hotspur. He has won the league title twice. He has been able to produce attractive kind of football. He plays offensive football. He likes to create a lot of situations in which there is more things happening in the third half of the pitch. Mostly the offensive style is quite suitable the way the United used to be back in Sir Alex Ferguson days. And the most fascinating thing which you could see is this, that the amount of goals he has given away, that's pretty good record. If you just have a look, you could see that in year 2018 and 19, in which they went to the semi-final of Champions League, they just gave away 32 goals in the league. And if you just follow it down, 1920 was the Corona year where the Dutch league got cancelled, and the next season, which was played behind closed doors, he just gave away 23 goals. So it's pretty good that he knows how defensively his team has to set up. So he understands the system. His coaching staff do understand the perspective that if you want to attack, you need to be a solid defensive unit in the back. So in case if there is a counter attack, or in case if there's a better team playing who keep the ball in terms of possession, and they tend to keep the ball more and more, they have solutions. They have solutions on both sides of the pitch. They're a very solid defensive unit. They are pretty good attacking side, and he has won the league twice. Although it's not a standard up to Premier League, but if you watch his games, it certainly appeals to you. And the other data which I was able to find out was that how much did he spend in all those 5 seasons, and what I found was quite astonishing. In other managers who have been targeted, I'll be comparing Erik Ten Hag in regarding specifically from this perspective, that Erik Ten Hag had spent money on players, but because the setup Ajax have in terms of producing good young players, he has been able to do it without spending a lot of money. On the other hand, he has made a lot of money by selling those players. He sold De Ligt, he sold Frankie de Jong, he sold Ziyech, and he still managed to get this team play, and he has been able to do so. And he has produced such a good football. And one more data which I found was quite amazing, that back in 2015 and 16, before he was offered Ajax job, if you could look, he just stayed there for one season, and what we could see is that he played 34 games, he won 15 games, and he drew 8, he lost 11 games. The quite fascinating, he made Utrecht to come to the position of the 5th in the whole league, which is quite astonishing, and he was given Manager of the Year award. So that means he's a very good manager. He knows how to coach young kids, and he has a good record in the knockout tournament. If given resources and if he's given the whole backing, he can certainly be the perfect United manager. But in terms of comparing him with the other names such as Antonio Conte, everybody would say that Antonio Conte has won with Juventus, he has won with Chelsea, he has won with Inter Milan. But we have to tend into the factors that who Manchester United owners are. Manchester United owners do not tend to have a person who is a very strong personality, such as Jose Mourinho. If everybody remembers, Jose Mourinho, if he's not happy with the situation, he would come and be honest and forthcoming, and he would be right there and then in the face. Antonio Conte is a similar mold. He would do the same. If there is something he needs to be fixed right there and then, he would want it to be right there and then. And the board wouldn't want to be in a position where they would want to have a person which was similar as Mourinho. So what we'll do is we'll move on to Antonio Conte, and we'll see his data set, and what we'll see is that Antonio Conte record is pretty astonishing as well. The only place where he apparently lack is the Champions League. He hasn't been able to produce goods in that tournament, and apparently, according to Fabrizio Romano, his aim is to come to United and make sure that he does good in that competition. He wants to win that competition. He thinks that Manchester United is a perfect team where he can do that, and he thinks that this present squad is good enough to do that. So that means that if he comes in, he would not be asking for so and so players, perhaps maybe 1 or 2, but he thinks that this squad can win the Champions League, which is very, you could say, surprising, as we've seen how Ole has been doing with this team. Perhaps Conte knows better. He hasn't got a good record in Europe, but he seems to be quite showed that he thinks that he can win with this United squad. But anyway, we'll move on with what he has done. Apparently, he has won the league with Juventus 3 times. He has got a net transfer spend at Juventus for about £107 million. That's not that much, because you could say that it is all been almost like 10 years ago, and that comes up to 35.7 million per season. He had no success in UCL, but he was starting to win things, and he was starting to make name, which he did. And then he moved to Chelsea, where he won a league title. He won an FA Cup. He had stayed there for 2 seasons. He had a net transfer spend of 90 million for 2 years, which averages 45 million per season. He also had no success in UCL over there. Then after that, he moved to Inter Milan. He won a league title, and apparently he had a net transfer spend of 151 million, which is a lot compared to Chelsea. Chelsea had 90 million, and at Inter Milan he had 151 million. Everybody remembers he bought Lukaku, almost half of that money, and the average net transfer spend comes up to 75.8 million. And he was also not successful in Champions League, but he was able to get into the Europa League final, which he lost against Sevilla. You could say that Conte is a very good winner. He has won the leagues wherever he has gone to, and he could do wonders for United. And if he believes that this current squad is able to win, then apparently he's seeing something which others aren't, and perhaps he's so good at it, maybe he might win if he gets the job. Anyway, we'll move on to the next target, which is Mauricio Pochettino. Apparently this name came up I was watching the other day Fabrizio Romano, where Mark Oyen he came up and he mentioned that apparently United board they like Mauricio Pochettino, and they think that he's the perfect manager for Manchester United, and they like him very much. They wanted him when they gave Ole the job, and now he's at PSG. It looks impossible to prize him away now, but you never know whatever happens in this international break. Perhaps they might talk to Pochettino and see what happens, or maybe it doesn't. But anyway, we'll go through Mauricio Pochettino's league record. He was at Southampton, and he made his name over there, and he got noticed over there. He had a net transfer spend of 76.9 million, which roughly averages about 38.50 million per season. And then he moved to Tottenham Hotspurs, where apparently he had like 6 seasons, and he took Tottenham Hotspurs to Champions League final. He lost to Liverpool. He also came a runner-up, basically came second in the league, and he was expected to win in 2015-2016 season, but apparently he couldn't. And he made Spurs a very good potent force. Harry Kane really played beautiful football under him, and Tottenham really were some side in that, and which came. It basically showed that Mauricio Pochettino, with little amount of money, could do wonders for a club, and he seems to fit the philosophy of Manchester United, where they would like to bring up academy players, where they would like to give the young players a chance, and where they think that the young players they could do wonders for the United, as they have done in the past with Alex Ferguson and Matt Busby. So they think Mauricio Pochettino is the perfect person. And now I'm going to go through his record. And if you could see the amount of goals he has scored, they aren't in the numbers as we could say of Pep Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp, but you could say that the amount of goals that he has given away are pretty sound, and hasn't got more than 40. So he is a pretty good coach who could set up a team defensively as well as offensively. Now looking at the amount of money he has spent about 117 million in 6 seasons, which averages about under 20 million, which is pretty good. And the players they bought and the team he had made was pretty good. They were challenging the likes of City and Liverpool. So he's pretty much not far away, but right now he is at PSG, and Manchester United would very much want him if they had the choice. And if Mauricio Pochettino was available, I think they would have sacked Ole on Monday, and on Tuesday it would have been made official that Mauricio Pochettino is a new coach of Manchester United. But anyway, we've seen this data out of these 3 managers. There was another notable mention of Brendan Rodgers, that United might be looking for some solution in Premier League, and they might offer Rodgers, but Rodgers has a contract up till 2025. He just signed an extension with Leicester, and I don't think so he would be. Perhaps he might be interested, but I don't know if United fans would want him after he did a job for Liverpool. So let's see what happens. Now, what I said was that we were going to see these targeted managers data set, and we're going to compare it with Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Pep Guardiola, and you could see that Pep Guardiola is a very good manager. He's a very good coach. He has won Champions League with Barcelona. He did that twice with Messi in the team, and he made his name there. He started pretty good. In every season he was there, he scored almost 100 goals, and he didn't give away those many goals. He won the league title 3 times over there. He also won some domestic cups, and then he moved to Bayern Munich, where apparently he won 3 league titles over there as well, and he also scored a lot of good goals. And you could see he scored in the number of 80s, and he didn't lose those many goals as well. So that means his philosophy is the more possession you have of the ball, the less other team is going to have chance to go at you. So if you keep the ball and if you are efficient with the ball, you'll always be on top of the other opposition team, and you can always be in control, and that's what his team tends to do. The net transfer spend he had at Barcelona was about 163 million, which roundly comes up to about, the average is almost, you could say that, 41 million per season, which is not that bad. And then when he moved to Bayern Munich, he stayed there for 3 seasons and he had a net transfer spend of 84.2 million, where he averaged 28 million per season. Now, if you would come up to Manchester City, here where the things start get little bit different. If you could see that he has won 3 league titles with Manchester City, and he has been able to produce that attacking type of football where he is able to score more than 80 goals per season. He hasn't given away those many goals, although Premier League is a league where the amount of goals are much more than the other leagues. And you could see that what he has done at City is that he has made them important force, not much as in Europe, because he's just been to just one final in Champions League. Every time he has a go at Champions League, he's been out at quarterfinal stage, and mostly people question that how come Pep Guardiola hasn't been able to win Champions League again, and it's almost like 10 years, more than 10 years now. So he has that. He wants to win with City, and looks like he might, the way he's going, because he came in the final and he lost to Tuchel. But it seems that he's pretty much close. As soon as he gets his forward situation sorted, and if he gets that world-class forward, it will make things very easier for him to have a go at Champions League again. So we'll look at what he did at City, how much money did he spend, and if you would just bear with me, and if you could just have a look. In the first season, he spent about 215 million. In the second season, he spent 317 million. In third season, he spent 78.6 million. Then for the next 2 seasons, he spent almost 160 million. And in the last season, the season which is currently right now, he spent about 127 million, in which he brought Jack Grealish. The total net transfer spend he made was 704 million. Now, this figure, if you take it out in 6 seasons, it averages about 117 million per season. That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. Now, if you look at this, and if you would think that if you would want to have a manager who would ask for this much money, now City are backed by a state-owned, they can spend that money, whereas Manchester United, they have their owners who wouldn't want to spend that much money. So if there's a manager like Antonio Conte who would want to come in, and if you would say, oh, I need 2 or 3 players, and it's going to cost you about 100 to 150 million, Glazers might say, or they might think that, you know what, you have a squad over there. We think that squad is pretty much good enough that you could win with this squad, and we think that we're going to give you not 150 million, perhaps we're going to give you only 50, 60 million, the half of it, and you have to make do with that. Antonio Conte is not going to stay quiet. He will just come out and say, you know what, I asked for this and I wasn't given this, and how can you go into something with one hand tied? And he will certainly come out in the media or in the public. And Glazers don't want that, because it will make them look bad, and they don't want to look bad. They want a person who would come out and say, they want a person like Ole, who would just keep his mouth shut and would do things as he's been asked to, and who wouldn't question Glazers, who wouldn't question bold decisions, and just keep on, more or less, keep himself to himself. So Antonio Conte would be a big no for Glazers and the board, whereas it leaves not so many options. It leaves people such as Erik Ten Hag, but Erik Ten Hag is not going to leave in mid-season. He's not going to leave Ajax, maybe perhaps at the end of the season. Whereas Mauricio Pochettino, he would see how does the campaign goes for PSG in Europe this season, if they're able to win Champions League. If he wins the Champions League, then he might stay for another year. If he doesn't win Champions League, perhaps PSG might think maybe there are other names we should go for. Maybe they go for Conte and Pochettino is out of the job, and then United can go for Pochettino. But if we are asking this question that who United are going to go in 2 weeks' time, then there's quite interesting thing which I want to show you is of Jurgen Klopp. Now, if we have a look at how Jurgen Klopp data looks like, it's quite astonishing that every United fan should be asking this of Ed Woodward, that back in 2014 or 2013 when Sir Alex Ferguson retired, how come he wasn't able to get Jurgen Klopp as a United manager? We've all heard the story that he had an interview, he met Ed Woodward, and Ed Woodward basically, he mugged it up. He wasn't able to convince Jurgen Klopp to join United, and Klopp later on joined Liverpool, the arch rivals of Manchester United. Now, if you've seen what Jurgen Klopp has done at Liverpool, he has won them a Champions League. He has won them a league after 30 years, which is quite astonishing. But from what I've seen from his data set is really surprising, is really shocked me what I saw. Well, back he was a Dortmund manager. We remember his team that won 2 league titles, and he came to the Champions League final. He lost to Bayern Munich. The net transfer spend he had throughout those 7 seasons was just 63 million. In that 63 million, he had the likes of Godze, he had the likes of Lewandowski, he had the likes of Hummels, he had the likes of Subotic, he had the likes of Schmelzer, and he just spent 63 million, which is nothing. In today's day and age, it's nothing. And it averages just 9 million per season. If you have a person who's challenging Bayern Munich domestically, he wins the league twice, he takes them to the Champions League final with a 9 million net transfer spend, you have to take that person. The way his team is set up, the way they attack on the pitch, the way they attack in numbers, the way they press, was a perfect kind of football philosophy that United should have had, and Ed Woodward got away with it. Forget all those transfer targets which he missed. Ed Woodward should be questioned about this, that how come he failed to get Jurgen Klopp as United manager. If you look at the data set record of Liverpool, it's unbelievable that he has been there for about, this is his 7th season right now, and what he has done is he's only spent only 203 million, around about 204 million, and he's been there for like 7th season. This is his 7th season. It averages 29 million per season. Net transfer spend of Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool is 29 million. So that means that Jurgen Klopp knows how to coach. Jurgen Klopp knows what to do with a set of players. He knows how to put team out. He knows what he wants to do. He knows what he wants to achieve. He knows what he wants to go at. And he is being backed up by the board. He is being backed up by the right people at Liverpool. Now, at Manchester United, if you would just go and see the people behind the scenes, there is no football person. There isn't a person who would make a sound decision based on football. There is no one who would question the kind of players we're targeting. You could say that somebody would say, oh, what kind of player would you want to go? Let's take Ronaldo. Ronaldo is a world-class player. But the question is, did United need a Ronaldo? Or did United need Erling Haaland? Or did United need Mason Greenwood to step up and become the striker? And in 2-3 years' time, he would be firing 20 goals per season. Now, these are the questions that at United, everybody is expected that Ole will answer, who's the manager. But what happens if Ole isn't the manager anymore? What happens if there is another person who's kind of a sporting director, who's a director of football, and who has been in the game of football? And where does the responsibility lies behind the scene? So what United need to do is, United need to, first of all, get the right people in. They need to get right people behind the scenes. What they should do is, they should get a team rather than just a manager. If they get the team right, and if they get those right people in the club, they will be able to get those managers. And based on this data, which we are looking at Jurgen Klopp, when I went through it, and when I went through those targeted managers, The best I found was the best two candidates for me, which I found was Pochettino and Erik ten Hag. Now, everybody would question that Pochettino didn't win anything, which is quite true. But Pochettino, his average at Tottenham Hotspur was under 20 million. Imagine if that goes up to 50 million. Imagine if that goes to 60 million. Imagine what he could do with that. Imagine if he hasn't got any fear that he would lose Mason Greenwood or Rashford to any club. While at Spurs, it was every season that he might lose Harry Kane. Every single transfer window, you would see that person and he's just answering about Kane and he's just answering about Kane. And he had this fear that he might lose Kane every season. But at United, it won't be so. So if he joins United, he'll have that comfort level and he'll have that amount of money. And he might be able to produce, which he wasn't able to produce at Tottenham Hotspur. Whereas Erik ten Hag, he hasn't got the Premier League experience, but it shows the kind of team that he has behind the scene. They are a very sound team. They can produce good football, the football which United fans would want to see. And in my opinion, any of these two will be perfect managers for Manchester United. And if Mauricio Pochettino is at PSG and they can't get him, then United need to, in every aspect, go out for Erik ten Hag. They should go out and reach out to Ajax. They should pay a compensation fee. They should go out and try to get this man, because this person, he knows his football. He knows what he wants to do on the pitch. He knows what he wants to do with his players. He knows what he can try to get. If everybody remembers, he almost went to the Champions League final. If not for Lucas Moura, Ajax would be playing in Champions League final. And who knows, perhaps they might have won the Champions League. And we would have seen Erik ten Hag not in Ajax dugout. We might have seen him in Barcelona's dugout. We all know that Barcelona, they like managers from Holland. They like to associate themselves with Cruyff methodology, and they like Dutch methodology. And we might have seen Ten Hag turning out as a Barcelona coach, and he would have done wonders for Barcelona. So right now, what United need to do is they need to go out for Erik ten Hag, and he's the perfect person, perfect manager for United at this very moment. And if they get him, he might be able not to do wonder in this season, but you could say in next season, he will be already set up at United. He'll have a good preseason. He'll get one or two more players. He will know the squad much more better. And who knows, he might be aiming for the league title. And who knows, he might win the league title. So anyway, in my opinion, I think based on this data set, you can see it on your screen. You can have a look. You can pause the screen and you can have a look at this data. And you can make your mind yourself up that he's pretty sound defensively. He's pretty sound offensively. He has won league title back in his native country. And he has also produced good in Champions League with limited amount of budget. Apparently, he's made a profit. And he could do pretty good. So in my opinion, he should be the United manager. So guys, thank you very much for watching today's episode. And I hope that you did like this episode. If you could comment in the comment section below. And if you want to put any suggestion, you can do that as well. So thank you guys for watching Football Gupshup. I hope I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.